This is In Character. I'm your host, Gerard Robinson, Vice President for Education at the Advanced Studies in Culture Foundation. Sharif, welcome back, I should say.
Thanks for having me back. I'm looking forward to, going a little deeper in some of the conversations that we had previously.
So here's the first question. What made you decide to leave your classroom to become an administrator?
You know what? I think, I think about this a lot, and sometimes, your community calls you. It wasn't something that I was purposefully pursuing. And I think I told this story, but when it came to my principal certification, I was not interested at all. It was my principal who approached me. I had on a napkin for a long time where he said, "Oh, you'll be a great principal one day." We were at a PD together, and I was like, "I don't want to do that," But I think slowly and surely, they would ask me to lead professional development, to coach, to mentor, and at some point, he really encouraged me. And even after I got my certification, I was not necessarily interested in doing it. And then it was staff members who came and said, we had a vacancy, and they were like, "We don't want someone new coming in. We want you. You've been here for 9 years. You know what we're trying to accomplish here." And at that point, you feel like, that you have the support, you feel that you are needed, that you're being called upon. And it's a heavy responsibility that I took very seriously. But originally, when people would ask me, I would look at our principal, Mr. Delfonso, and I was like, no way in the world do I want that life, But once you're in that seat, you embrace it, and you rise up to the challenge, particularly if you have the depth of support that I had as an administrator.
Got it. So what practices did or do you use as an administrator to build a culture of learning inside of your classroom, but for you also your community? Because as you said, you were pretty well interwoven to both. And so just share your thoughts about how you make that work.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it starts with accountability, myself. Like, how did I hold myself accountable, both as a teacher, and then later as administrator, for student outcomes, for staff ability to be successful. I had a level of self-efficacy that felt like, what, if I do things well, if I in studying, if I'm working hard, if I'm getting feedback, if I'm building a team, and if I'm accepting feedback, right? Like, and so this constant, all of this together creates this feedback loop, both one from me to the person in the mirror, but then also from other folks within the community. And then I would say the other part was, just not being afraid, being unabashed about my commitment to the children, my commitment to their families that sent their children to us, and then the community at large, right? And so, I would talk to our staff often about, like, we made promises to families that their students' lives would change if they came to our school, if they were within our community. They would be safe academically, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, culturally. And so what does it take to do that? It takes a band of committed adults to make that happen. And, I think it starts with accountability.
When you were in a classroom, fewer than 5% of all teachers in the country were African American men. You then go into leadership position. Numbers aren't, that high. Talk about what you're doing right now with your foundation to address this, whether it's teacher learning pipeline or whether just it's administration in general, because I think you're doing some really interesting work. I'd like our viewing and listening audience to know.
Oh, thank you. Yes. So at the Center for Black Educator Development, we're really looking at four pillars, as we say. One, policy. What policies can we advocate for that will support student outcomes and educational justice? Two, professional learning and pedagogy would be the next two items. And so what pedagogical moves, what are the mindsets, what are the opportunities of learning that people have done when they were successful with children, particularly Black children, particularly children who've been marginalized. Any group of students who've been marginalized, they have a story as far as, like, why that's happened, particularly if it's been generational. And so we believe that great teachers and great school leaders need coaching, mentoring, support, professional learning, workshops and opportunities. All of that has to be a part of the mix. And then the last one is pipeline. So we try to recruit, students who, teachers who look like the students that we serve. So Black and brown teachers and school leaders and educators, we're recruiting them. And we believe we have to start that recruitment as early as ninth grade in high school. And so what we're doing is giving them dual enrollment opportunities where we partner with teacher colleges, and they get credits, they get college credit on their transcripts. We use a clinical experience to match it. So it's not just seat time. They also get this experiential summer program that we based it off the Freedom Schools movement, and where they teach first, second, and third graders literacy, and we say, hey, you know what, if you work with us, not only will we continue to raise money for you to have a job, but you also learn the basics of phonics and reading comprehension that you can teach to first, second, and third graders. Like if you want to be a teacher, if you're even interested, then I'd prefer you to be with us during Freedom School than flipping burgers at the suburban mall. Come with us. We will pay you a competitive salary just so that you can learn, hey, this is what it takes. Here's the mindset, the skill, and the will in order to be an effective teacher. And so far, so good. We've had some really, outstanding results for the past 3 summers, and we're looking forward to continuing to do this year round.
Tell us the webpage where we can go and learn more about what you're doing.
Sure, www.thecenterblacked, Black ED. So www.thecenterblacked.org. And you can find us on all the social media. Sorry, you can find us on all the social media, pages: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram.
Well, Sharif, again, thanks so much for joining me for a conversation in character. Keep up the good work and look forward to future conversations.
Same here. Thank you. You keep up the great work and appreciate all of your mentorship and counsel over the years. Appreciate you.
Thank you.